Welcome to the second edition of the Black Rockers United Black Rocker Roundtable. My name is Kim Gill. I also go as Kim Metal, and I am joined by my co-host Nicole Callie. We're both part of the media team of Black Rockers United, and we started last year, and we're just happy with the progress. As much as have been going on right now, we've been doing a lot of great things, and we're just growing and getting better with it. And I would like to introduce our guest panelists. Yes, Ali, we're excited. We have soon-to-be Dr. Lena Dawes. Oh my God.
Soon to be Dr. Okay.
Yeah. Soon-to-be Dr. Lena Dawes. She is the author of What Are You Doing Here? A Black Woman's Life and Liberation and Heavy Metal. And then we also have Samantha Ghetto Songbird Hollins. She is also the culture rock griot, and she has a huge database of black rockers, and she celebrates music from black rock and alternative scenes across the board, and she has a great Facebook group for that, and I recommend everyone joins it. And then we had Meredith Bell returning from Palisburn. Oh my God, I'm so excited that you came back to join us, and we're so happy to have you because we had such a great discussion with you the last time. And last but not least, we have Madam St. Beatrice, vocalist of Madam St. Beatrice. Oh my God. And every woman here right now is a member of the East Coast rock and metal scene. So yes. So
music rockers. Okay.
So how has everyone's week been going so far? What have you guys been up to? We're gonna start with Nicole, the co-host first.
Hi, good to hear from you, Kim. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Every one of us is an amazing rocker, and I'm doing well myself. I'm going through some personal stuff, but I'm delighted to see you all, and I'm definitely overjoyed because this is a monumental moment, and I'd love to hear from the rest of you. How are the rest of you doing?
Who would like to go next?
I'll go next. This week teaching. And actually, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you to Kim. I teach a class on pop music, writing about pop music criticism to high school students. And Kim was a guest lecturer a couple of weeks ago for me. And I was talking to my students and they all loved you, Kim. And I think that just having like the representation of having a young Black woman talk about social media. I wanted Kim to come in and help the kids kind of with social media research. And, a little bit, we talked about Kim's background in terms of the video production and interviewing, and the kids just loved it. So thank you, Kim, for coming to join my class a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So teaching and writing.
Yeah. Okay. Beatrice, you want to go next?
Sure, why not? What I've been up to, I've been working on new music. I'm like so excited about this new project. I feel like, yes, I've done some previous work that I'm very proud of, but I feel like this new stuff that I've been working on, it's more like the production is better. There's more growth. I feel like I'm exploring more. I'm not really sticking just to like rock and roll. So I'm doing a little R&B. It's more soulful. Yeah, I that's pretty much it. Just me recording the music, really. Yeah.
And Samantha, would you like to go next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm also a rock and roll mama of four, so most of my time is spent between my little ones and trying to get some writing in. So my week has pretty much been homeschooling 4 little ones and trying to write articles, writing songs, and just keeping my head above water.
Yes. Is it tough being a musician and a mom, or do you have a balance for it all?
It was tough at first, but then I realized they had an interest in music. So when I include them in, it's less work to do. If I don't include them, then they make it very difficult. I even like taking them to shows whenever I can as well before the pandemic hit, keeping them busy.
Hmm. Right. Okay. I think your mic was breaking up a little bit, but
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, I think we could mute our mics while everyone else is talking. I think that would be helpful. Meredith, would you like to go?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I just had a Zoom meeting, as you know, pandemic, as people do with the Palisburn guys earlier on this week. And we're just talking about trying to get things together because, you know, people are getting vaccinated and shows are starting up again, and just really coming up with a plan of action in regards to the new music that we're working on. And, you know, just really excited about this new project that we have coming up. It's a lot heavier. I think we're definitely going into quite a heavier direction than what we were doing previously. And it's really exciting to actually come up and like really hone into what we want Palisburn sound to be. So very, very excited about this new project. So yeah, just coming up with some new shit.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Awesome. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Diamond Rowe because she just released her new album today, Tetra. Unstable just dropped today. It is fire. Fire. Congrats to them. They're doing great things and they're accomplishing a great deal in the industry. And for her to come so far as she did and to be on this level is something I never thought I needed. You know, she's representing for us. So shout out to Diamond. So Nicole, did you want to ask the first question?
One minute.
Yeah, you were muted.
Wind like all over the place. But in terms of Diamond, like listen, I am beyond proud of her. For me, it's yeah, like their career is like 10 years plus, you know. Like we've been charting their rise as a rocker, and it's just yeah, it's just what are you most proud of, like for Diamond? For me, it's not just her technical skill, it's just the fact that she's just been adamant about being like a black guitarist, you know? Can you say that again, Kim? You have to unmute. I'll mute myself.
I'm sorry. I think for me, it's her presence as a black woman in the industry that is just very profound. And for her to be at the top, she might be in one of the big fours of this generation. And we never seen anything like that of this magnitude. So I'm just looking forward to her being like the next Eddie Van Halen, the next Dimebag Darrell. I think she's going to be up somewhere in that caliber because she's so amazingly talented. People she admired throughout her fandom in metal and throughout her career in metal are asking her tips about her setup and how she plays, and they give her tons of feedback, positive feedback and accolades. So I think she is up there, definitely. I'm just proud of her.
Yeah, because that leads up to my next question. And the first question, what is it like being a woman of color in the East Coast and Mid-Atlantic rock and the metal scene? And how have you been able to navigate that? What has been your journey thus far? Whoever wants to start, because I'm eager to hear from all of you.
I'll go. I think for me,
I'll start.
personally,
Okay.
I know you're good. Sorry. I think for me personally, it's really been the biggest thing is really been navigating your own path because there hasn't really been anybody like, well, I can't say that there hasn't been anybody, but specifically in the Philly scene myself, you know, there really weren't a lot of like black like rock people as a whole coming from that particular scene. When you think about Philly, you think about the Roots, you think about Jill Scott, you think about Music Soul Child and that sort of thing. So a lot of these artists that are coming up are within that, you know, R&B, you know, soul sort of thing. And so me, I got to Philly when I was like when I just graduated college, so I was about 22, that sort of thing, telling my age. Um, but really trying to just navigate and just, you know, kind of weave my way through the scene and seeing, you know, how people were going to, you know, react to someone like me, and to really figure out what worked and what didn't. So that I have to say was the biggest challenge. But it ended up really being very rewarding because when people start to see something new like that and they can relate to it, they'll let you know. And I've definitely had a lot of people come up to me, you know, in the past when I've played shows and that sort of stuff, and just being like, "Oh man, like there are other people like me who are like into this sort of shit. Like I could be in a rock band too. That's cool, you know." So that I have to say has been like the biggest thing for me is just finding my own path and finding out what works for me and what works for my band.
Wow, that's real. That is absolutely real. To see someone like yourself is so validating. It's empowering, you know? Like to see like you on stage is just like, I can do it too, you know? Like, thank you. And thank you for sharing that that's something that happens to you regularly. Right on, Meredith.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, Beatrice?
Wow. Well, I started this thing thanks to my guitar player, Paul from Reagan Youth. Because of him, I'm doing what I'm doing. I started off doing Dust Angel. How should I put it? I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
You good, girl?
Forgive
We
me.
family.
It's okay. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. We happy to have you.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah. So, we did a band called Dust Angel. We toured all over the U.S. And before you know it, that was over with. And I was just like, you know what? I want to do my own thing. I want to do this Madame St. Beatrice thing. I want to touch all genres. I don't want to do the whole just punk metal thing. You get what I'm saying? I want to and I want to do my thing. Maybe I could do some dance music. Maybe I could do some pop music. I haven't, stepped on that lane yet, but I will eventually. So that's that really. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. We just
Okay.
got our
Okay.
mic off. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So you performed like nationwide in Dust Angel. I didn't know that. I thought it was just up and down the Mid-Atlantic coast. Rad.
Yes.
Go look at you.
Oh my God. We went all over the West Coast, Texas, down south, Midwest, over the East Coast. Yeah, I got to see America, really. Yeah, and boy, oh boy, it was a trip. It was a trip. Being a Black woman in a rock band, and the reaction that you get, from these people. Just being like, there were shows I would perform, and I would be like the only Black girl there, the only one. Like, okay, I would look around. I'm like, oh shit, I'm the only Black girl here. Okay, this is trippy. But hey, I did it, and every once in a while I would get like someone who would come up to me and say, why there's not people like you around this town? Like they don't they don't come front and center and say, why there are not Black people who's into rock and roll? They just say, why aren't girls like you around here? Yeah, I get that kind of reaction. Yeah, so it's fascinating. It is an experience.
Okay. And how about you, Samantha?
Wow. I started 2001 on the Philly rock scene. And like Meredith said, it was all about soul in Philly. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I would just take my electric guitar and play.
Okay, so she cut off, so she'll be back. So I guess we could wait for her to come back, or Lena, would you like to give your answer while we wait for her?
Sure. Well, I'm a journalist, so I'm feeling kind of in terms of like being a non-musician, it's but I guess for me it was like I was born and raised in Canada, so I the metal scene, and I was kind of grew up in the metal scene in Toronto. So moving to New York almost 8 years ago was a bit of a culture shock. But I think that moving to the States and moving to New York in terms of working on, like as a journalist and getting more access to artists, obviously coming back to like, sorry, I'm a little frazzled myself. But just, I think that the scene here was pretty good before COVID. But I think that what I've been doing right now is basically I'm just finishing my dissertation and finishing up my degree. So that involves a lot more interviewing metal bands, I'm really interested in talking to a lot of young Black men and women who are into underground extreme metal. I'm pretty much into extreme music, so the scene here has been really good. I think that in Chicago, Philly, New York, there's a lot of up and coming bands and artists. And it's been interesting because I've been talking to a lot of people in Europe and the UK in terms of kind of like the theoretical framework of heavy metal, and just talking about the experiences between what's going on in Europe, what's going on here. So it's really about kind of I'm really interested in trauma and also looking at the genre.
Oh my God.
Don't feel bad.
Anyway.
My mom did
Like,
that to me.
listen,
Yeah. In a Zoom,
if
in
I
a
had a
work
dime for
Zoom
every time my
meeting,
sister
she
did
did that to me. Don't
That
feel
was
bad.
funny. Don't feel bad.
It happens.
Happens to the best of us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, but basically, yeah, kind of just working on my dissertation. Hopefully, I'll be done in a year. And just hopefully we'll be able to kind of do some of the projects like the clapback that both Samantha and Beatrice and Kim have been I've worked with them in the past in terms of creating spaces for women of color who are into the alternative arts and trying to get more kind of events going in New York. I think that I'd like to get something going this summer, but it just depends on like what's going on. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ali Bishop in the chat says, "Shout out to Ma Dukes."
Always.
Oh my God. Okay, so did Samantha, Samantha went just now, right? I think there's a delay with Samantha's mic. I'm not sure.
That might be.
I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi. It keeps shutting up.
It's okay. We
Is it?
understand the
Can you
Wi-Fi
hear me? Mic check
issue.
1 2 1 2.
We
Yeah,
hear
I can hear
you.
you, Mike.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so
Can
I'm
you
gonna
hear
ask
me?
Yeah,
the
I can
next
hear you, man.
question. Is there anything you guys find cool about the rock scene, and has it allowed you to create freely, whether or not you're a musician or non-musician? So I guess I'll start with Meredith.
How familial it is, at least from, again, what I have experienced, as far as Philly. It's very small as far as like just the rock scene as a whole, like not even just like black people in it, just like rock as a whole is just quite small. Especially alternative rock, especially metal. So when it comes to playing shows and that sort of thing, you get to know people, you get to know bands very quickly. You guys hop on each other's shows, like you'll promote each other's shows. If people have like singles and stuff like that coming out, like people will post and tell their friends and be like, hey, definitely check out this band show and that sort of thing. I just noticed like how close knit and how like it feels like a bit of a family. Like it just seems like it's very, very supportive. Like I really can't talk about a lot of like negative experiences I've had. I mean, outside of Philly, sure, but like inside Philly as a whole, like our scene is very, very close knit. And yeah, I feel like as far as creating freely, I feel like not only does that cater towards feeling comfortable in a creative space, but also it really gives way to being able to collaborate with other artists. Because I could hit somebody up. I literally like me and a couple of my friends from like 4 bands in the scene are currently working on the Seven Dust cover. Like I literally was like, hey, who wants to do Licking Cream? And people are just like, yeah, sure, I'll hop on that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's
It's
a
very
great
much like I
song.
can reach out to people and, you know, whenever I need something or vice versa, they need something from us or myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, we're all in that collaborative space together and we all work together like as a team because we all want to see Philly win. We all want to see like, I'll cut it down, but our friends in Huxley literally just released a single and it hit on Billboard. And so now all of us are like trying to like post about, you know, hey guys, look what our friends did. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just very collaborative. It's very like we're all in this together, you know, very High School Musical, but yeah. So
No, that's real. Solidarity is felt. It's tangible.
Mhm. Absolutely. Did you want to
Yeah.
add on, Lena?
Yeah, well, I was about to say, like, I went to the Decibel 100th issue party that they had. Oh my goodness, this must have been about 7 or 8 years ago. Anyway, Philadelphians know how to party. They know how to throw shows. Like I saw
you
Neurosis
goddamn
one
right
night,
they do.
and then the next night it was like this great Decibel, like the show that Decibel magazine did. And so yeah, I mean, it seems like there is a community of. It's good to have a community of like-minded people. I feel like, you know, since I started graduate school, I feel like I'm a bit out of the social game. So I'm not socializing really at all right now. But I do think that there's nothing better than for me, it's having a support network of journalists or people who I know at publications who will hit me up and say, can you write this for me? Instead of like the years and years it took for me, especially when I lived in Toronto, to constantly hustle to get freelance gigs. So it's nice to be at a place in my life personally where I don't have to work so hard. But yeah, the community is really important. And it's really awesome for me because there's a lot of journalists that I know who write for Decibel or write for The Quietist or Pitchfork, whatever, that I can say like, can you read over something I've just written? Or I can call them and we can shop talk about artists and what's happening. And like shout out to The Wire UK, which I've been writing for this English music publication for about 8 or 9 years now. And I basically pick and choose as to what albums I want to review. And so it's great to have those connections and contacts, and also kind of be pushed always to become a better interviewee, a better writer, and just always having that support system there. It's hard for Black women because I think we've all experienced having an issue where people look at you. Like when I start going to shows in the grunge era, or even previous to that, people are always looking at you like, why are you here? You shouldn't be here. And I think that it's always hard to start off when people look at you skeptically before they look at what talents you actually have. So I think that for what we all are doing, and especially Diamond, I just want actually to shout out Diamond again, because to me, what's important is that she's like the first lead guitarist in metal, Black woman, in mainstream metal, who's getting the attention from, the radio shows and all this stuff. I mean, she is really a truly amazing groundbreaker in terms of being a lead guitarist in a heavy metal band, because historically that is a role usually for white men. Even brothers don't get that deal. If a brother is in an all-white metal band, it's very rare that they're the lead guitarist, and there's a reason for that. So I think that for what Diamond is doing in terms of representing, like she's a fantastic guitarist, and I think that she really is a groundbreaker. And I hope to see the band. It's a great band, so I hope to see them succeed. But we also have to understand that mainstream is not necessarily the answer for everyone. We shouldn't all aspire to be getting a major record label deal. The underground scene in some ways is way more supportive. And, as Meredith, as you were saying, it's, you can collect all these musician friends, and collaborate freely, So I think that there's more opportunities to do that in the underground scene, in the mainstream metal scene.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. It is important to have a network in this scene, because especially when you're a person of color, because I feel like sometimes there are people in this scene that subscribes to the absolute worst, and they follow along with that because they want to fit in, or they want to have a safety net in a way, but it's not in their best interest. So I think it is great to have like a group of like-minded people you can talk to and relate information to, especially if you feel a certain way about something that happened in the scene that bothers you, and you want to know if you're not the only person that thinks that way. And I say that because there was something that happened this past weekend in New York City. There was a hardcore show. Oh my God.
I knew this was going to be brought up. I was there.
Hold on. I didn't. What happened?
Right. So basically, there was a hardcore show this past weekend at Tompkins Square Park. And what happened was they signed a permit for it to be allegedly it was a 9/11 memorial protest show. And basically the gist of it was majority white guys, and they were upset that people were allowed to protest last year, but they weren't allowed to go to shows. And they were using the protest for George Floyd as the example of why they should have a show. Nobody said anything with thousands of people were protesting and rioting last year, but we couldn't have a show. So they just felt the need to throw a show. And what's going on is they're being investigated right now because according to the New York City Parks and Recreation, they violated the permit. They said it was only supposed to be 100 people. And they lied on a permit and said that it was supposed to be a memorial and a protest, and it was only supposed to be 100 people. almost 3,000 people showed up to the park that day, and they said it was not that's not something normal for if they wouldn't issue a permit for anything that size in that park. But it just the draw came out. It was a whole draw of people that came out. There was no one wearing masks. People were crowding and yada yada yada. And I just want to put this for context because a lot of people like to use the protests of last year to justify anybody doing anything that might like violate the COVID restrictions. Because last year, the protest last year, the virus didn't spread amongst the protesters for certain reasons. They were outside in the sun. They were not stationary. They weren't in one space for a long period of time. People were moving around. People were distancing within the protest. And then also people were wearing masks in the protests. So COVID did not spread amongst the protests. So people need to realize that. That's why people were not getting COVID when they were protesting, because all of those factors. But you see these people who are right-leaning or they are trying to use the plight of Black people to justify why they shouldn't follow the rules and regulations because they were upset about it. And it just blew the responses. It got a lot of mixed responses. I was under the impression that this show was thrown under honest pretenses. I thought it was a show that got approval and yada yada, but it didn't. And now they're being investigated. And the more the people talk about it, the more the organizers talk about it, the more upset and angry I get, because it's like beyond me how that was allowed to happen and how many people are literally defending it. It really bothers me. So it's great to see some people I know actually speaking out on it, because I literally could not believe the lengths they were going to defend it. So I'm just waiting for what that investigation turns out. But I think Lena want to add in on something to this. Lena, did you want to add on?
Yeah, I mean, this is all about white men complaining and whining. This is about white men who didn't get their cookie, and they bullshit. And the guy that I saw, because actually Beatrice on Beatrice's page, I saw like like the guy that put his. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to put you on blast, Beatrice, but I just saw a picture of this guy that had like black whatever.
Oh yeah, the black.
And I was just like, somebody needs to get up on stage and punch him in the fucking face. I'm tired of this shit. Stop whining.
Yeah, that guy.
Stop.
That guy is a bit off.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, it's tired. He wants attention. You know, he wants attention, and he's like, oh, you know, this is my time. I could be the next Johnny Rotten or whatever his fat ass was saying. I just get so mad at this shit. Wow. You know, it's like this is a serious time in this society. This summer is not looking like it's going to be a good one, you know? And I think that people need to stop piggybacking on the Black Lives Matter movement to try and show their own ass. You know, like, it's just, I'm tired of this, and I'm tired of like people just taking transparent or very limited views on issues and then using them to manipulate so they can do their own thing, which is, well, Black Lives Matter did this, so I can do it too. You're not a fucking child, you know? So you're right, Kim. I mean, it's infuriating. And it's just sort of like, I'm just tired of stupid people. I'm tired of willfully ignorant people, you know? And unfortunately, the music scenes that we are involved in, there tends to be a lot.
Oh, still.
You know, so what are we going to do about that?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it's a very mixed bag in hardcore. It always was, because on the one hand, like, hardcore is supposed to be anti-fascist, and then you have people who are explicitly Antifa, because they see that it's something that has momentum. They see that Black liberation is something that has power. Because of that, they want to minimize it and have it just be like a show, basically.
Yeah.
You know, like this is just a hardcore show, you know, like, but it's so much more than that. You know what I mean?
One thing I would like to bring up is that I actually know the promoter, the person who like, you know, booked that show and made
Like
it happen.
the A7.
No, yeah. There was a lot of slandering going on, and there's one individual who actually went on stage. I was told this, that he went on stage, the singer, for Cro-Mag's Blood Clot. He's the one who went out. He's the one who made those, you know, insensitive comments.
Oh dear.
I mean, yeah, he's the one who like came out and said, "Oh, yeah, there was a protest last year. People weren't complaining about that." He also mentioned the DMX funeral as well, saying how there was thousands of people. Yeah. You know, and also the memorial.
Hold on.
And also,
was this,
and also the memorial thing.
Right. 9/11 memorial in April? Really?
Yeah, there's no memorial going on in April.
For 9/11.
For 9/11. That was another slander. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to mention was there
was a lot of
going
on.
A DMX funeral.
I'm sorry, I have someone here.
Like, they're using a DMX funeral as an excuse too. I was outside of DMX's funeral. I was outside of DMX's funeral because I was in
I wish I was there.
And I posted live. There was not a lot of people out there because the funeral was private and the church had security and everything. It was like a gated church and there was a lot of security there. There wasn't a lot of people because they didn't disclose the location of the funeral until literally before the broadcast.
So then,
So it's like, why are you using DMX's funeral as an excuse?
I know. That was
it's ridiculous. The links they go to defend this crap.
The comparisons is it's stupid.
I would say
it wasn't John Jones.
But yes, it was him. Yeah, he's the one who caused all this controversy. Really.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
Really?
I mean, I could
John
say,
Joseph?
but I feel like I
that was a disappointment.
Subtext.
He is a.
That's a disappointment because I was a
really
huge fan of his. Oh man.
Yeah.
He just did
a lot of slandering.
Too.
Oh really?
Oh man.
Oh
yeah.
You guys did Afropunk?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was was with the Bad Brains, I think.
And
he did Cro-Mags and then
that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. Remember?
Someone from the also I would like to bring up someone from the Gothamists is the one who like
is trying to kill every single show.
Yeah, he's Gothamists are familiar with that.
Yeah, they're a New York culture.
Yeah, because of that person is because of that person, they're gonna try to like destroy like every like future Tompkins Square show because of that article. Yeah, like it's unfair to like all the other bands that has nothing to do with that show. Like, you know,
to do with 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11 and all this like slander. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's really unfortunate. It really is. It's a complete mess. It's a mess.
The optics of the situation really.
And it's funny because I was actually there. I was actually at this show, but mind you, I was like so overwhelmed seeing people I haven't seen in so long because of the pandemic, you know. So I kind of like dismissed all the craziness that was going on. It was more like, hi kind of thing. But boy, oh boy, when I went online to see what actually went down, wow.
On a broader scale, you realize.
Yeah, it was baffling.
I understand.
Wow.
Yeah, and when I was watching people post it on social media, I just thought this was a legit show. It was a good thing. But then the day after, I'm hearing all of this other stuff that went down.
It's because of one article.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, because of one article. Like it Wow,
Mhm.
media could really destroy someone.
Right.
Oh,
Media
yeah.
could do a lot of
I
damage.
know.
Right. And then it's like then we don't need that in the New York scene, especially
I
when we
know
lost so
it gives
many
us a
venues.
bad look. A
Right.
bad look.
We lost
Yeah.
so many venues already during the COVID. So
Yeah.
I
to
know.
lose parks
Mhm.
in addition to that is very damaging to the scene. So it just took
Absolutely.
one person to fuck it up for everybody.
I
And that's
know.
like, and then you
And
want to
someone-
do this
and
under
someone-
the people. Mhm.
And someone who actually has like a huge following, like, you know, has a
Right.
huge platform,
You
just
would
for
think.
like because of those that crazy comment, it like completely destroyed. I mean,
That
did
leads
a
up
lot
to
of
our next
damage.
question, though.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was
Oh no, go on.
Which is our best and worst show experience? Which can
Right.
Oh
tie to
wow,
New York
that
hardcore.
one.
Woos-
No, I'm kidding.
Woosah, y'all. Woosah.
Yes.
Right.
It just shrinks this. They did this under the pretenses of save the stages, but the end result is that you took away more stages.
I know.
Took
That's
away
the
more
thing that-
stages because you wanted to be irresponsible. Extra.
Yeah, and telling the crowd to not wear a mask.
And they felt validated
Like-
in that. They felt so validated in that. It's just beyond me.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
But yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
It's our
All we
best
have
and
to do
worst
is our shake
experience.
our heads. It's like what? Insane.
Did y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we heard you. Yes. So,
Yeah.
did you want to go to the next question, or did everybody answer the previous question?
I think we covered it for sure.
Okay.
I think
All
so.
right. So, I think the next question is, what has been your best and worst show experience, as a journalist and as a performer? I would start with Lena first.
Best. Well, you know what? I went to a show in Baltimore. It was I think it was a This Is Our show. And it was the last show of Weekend Nachos, and Integrity was playing. It was just super hardcore. Everybody was like, I could have been people's mothers. And the funniest thing about this show was that I was really drunk. And I was with like my buds, you know, a friend of mine from Pittsburgh who's like insane, like just some cool dudes. I was the only woman hanging out with all these white dudes. But I remember the funniest thing is that I'm like, I have to go right to the front of the stage for Weekend Nachos because they're one of my favorite bands. And this young white man, this kid, he must have been like 19, he taps me on the shoulder and he goes, "Ma'am?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he goes, "If you have any problems in the pit, my friends and I will protect you." And I'm like,
That has happened to me. Yup.
That's so badass. I love that. That's such a vibe. That's a vibe.
That is a thing.
yeah, and it's funny because it's like, okay, take care of Granny. So I mean, but it was a
Got
good
you, Lena.
show. In terms of the bad show,
Yeah.
yeah, but I would say a bad show. I mean, one of the things, and I will say that I'm really disappointed with Maryland Death, and because I love that festival. Probably, I think I've gone like 6 or 7 times in my life. But the last time I went, or maybe the last one, Desma was playing, and they're kind of like a super, I don't know what you would call their music. It wasn't like black metal. But the lead singer is an old, I didn't know I was going to shoot the so I didn't know who I was shooting until about an hour before the festival started. And so I was in photo pit, and my man is wearing an Iron Cross. And I was shooting, and I happened to make eye contact with the lead singer. And I will never forget the look he gave me. Like, if he could have shot me dead in that second, he would have. His eyes were just black. and he was just staring at me. And then I see the Iron Cross, which is a Nazi symbol. And I just was like, I'm not getting paid enough to shoot this band. So I left the pit. And I think it's just, and I just walked away because I'm just like, I'm not going to get my ass kicked. It's not worth it. But the thing is that it's really hard sometimes. That's what I found when I was doing more concert photography, was that, like, you have these interactions with the artists on stage. Sometimes they're great. And then sometimes you realize who a person is by the way they're looking at you in that moment. And so I'll never forget that, because it just freaked me out. But I was just sort of like, why am I shooting a racist? Like, how is this working for me? I forget who I was shooting for at the time, but it was just like really disturbing. And I think that was the last time, like, I just seriously stopped thinking about going to MDF for that reason, because they don't care. They're very apolitical. So they'll just get people who people want to see. But there's always bands on the roster, like, national, some, crazy, idealism going on. And it's just like, we have to stop doing this. If you want to build if you want to build metal fans and get more people out to support independent artists, you got to do better. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing in the next couple of years, in terms of when we go to festivals, when we go to shows, who is on the roster. And and people, all the promoters have to take a second look at who they want to be on this roster, because we have to really stop pacifying nationalists, some NSBM bands, because they've got a very small listener or fan demographic in the States. So I think that's one of the things that concerns me in terms of, like, when live shows come back and who promoters, because there's been some shady shit in the city. There's been some shady shit. We all know, right? So, I mean, what is going to happen this summer when we are living in a world where there's just so much racial tension? So, we got to do better. Promoters got to do better at who book.
Yeah.
Right. Samantha, did you want to go next?
Yes. I'll start off with my worst experience. In 2005 in Philadelphia at the 5 spot, I was put on the bill with yes.
Taking it back.
Yeah.
Samantha, why are we
taking away that?
You really need to be.
Yes, 2005. A friend of mine named Camilla Wahi, she put on an all-woman black rock show, and it was all women, not just black, all-women rock show. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna help her promote this, John, and that's a Philly word. And we went to New York.
No, not that's a good part.
A bandmate of mine went to New York. We went to talk to James Spooner. Can you come to our show? He said, oh yeah, I'm going to come to the show. I'm going to bring Nona Hendrix. So we got to the show, and the sister by the name of Santi White, who's from Santa Gold, she was there, and she was rocking with her band there. And then I get up on the stage with my band, and all of a sudden, everything that can go wrong went wrong. They kept trying to turn my guitar down. They kept trying to turn my vocals down. They made sure the band overpowered me, so my set would totally be sabotaged. And that wasn't the first time that's happened. That's happened to me several times on the Philadelphia music scene and across the United States. Whenever a Black woman holding an electric guitar is on stage singing and fronting a band, they will try to drown you out and make sure you're not seen and heard to the best of your ability. And this has been our experience over the years.
They find it threatening.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. When I went to London, the same thing happened. And everybody used to think I was making up these stories, but then they would start coming to the shows. They were like, whoa, this really is happening.
I didn't think you were making it up. I knew you were being real.
This makes me appreciate Beyonce even more, because Beyonce would see a Black woman with a guitar and she would let her shine.
Hey,
Thank you,
Divinity
Beyonce.
rocks.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Bae.
You too, Samantha.
Thank
But
you,
the thing is,
Thank
okay,
you,
they let
Bae.
someone that just plays the guitar shine. But how about the sister that's singing and playing and also directing the band? Those are the
Yup.
ones that they see as a higher threat.
Right.
So it's
Absolutely.
easier for them to get the sister that's in the band that might be with a whole bunch of white guys. But if you're in an all black band and you're playing the electric guitar and you're leading in front in that thing, they're going to make sure that you're not seen and heard to the best of your ability at all times. So you have to fight for it each
Yeah.
show. Sometimes you have to say, yo, sound man, turn me up. And I used to be really quiet about it. I didn't want to embarrass nobody. I didn't want to get people mad at me. But I had to start speaking up. My best experience, Botswana. When I went to Africa, rocking with all these metalheads in Africa, that was my
Wow.
They connected with me on Facebook. They connected with me. Yeah. My brothers connected with me on Facebook in 2017, I believe. And we just been going back and forth for a while. And one day he was like, you need to come over here. Because everybody knew about the issues that I've been going through. For some reason, it just doesn't work for me in the USA. I have to travel very far to find a community.
Yeah.
So I found that community in Botswana. And there they treated us like royalty. I've never known that type of treatment doing a show, and people actually care about you. No one's trying to sabotage you. Everyone is enjoying you, and you can cheer for each other, and no one's trying to get each other out of the way. It was the best vibe that I've ever felt.
Beautiful.
Incredible.
That's amazing.
That's what it is to be
Love
black.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it be our own people that will show us the most love.
Absolutely.
Yes. Exactly.
How about you, Beatrice?
Yeah.
Wow, where do I start? Bad show. Well, you have to understand, I haven't been doing this Madame St. Beatrice thing for too long. I only played like 3 shows tops, and then COVID hit. So I got to experience a lot being in Dust Angel. You know, I played more shows with that band. So yeah, my bad experience was playing New Jersey. I forgot the name of the place, but I remember being right next to a stripper bar. Okay, so we're playing, and I noticed that there were people in the back, all the way in the back, just peeking, like just like this, as if like they were really intimidated by me, and they was like too scared to like, you know, come front and center to check me out. Like they had to look at me from afar, and I feel like that happens a lot. Like when I perform, you know, I get this vibe, especially from like white guys. You know, they give me that vibe like, I'm afraid of you, I'm intimidated by you, so I'm gonna stand back here to check you out.
You're powerful. You're powerful,
Yeah.
but not in a bad way. You know.
That's what.
Yeah,
That's when I get
I-
super obnoxious, and I'm like, "Hey, motherfuckers, bring your asses to the front. Let's do this. I'm not playing a fucking note until I can see your face." Oh yeah,
I feel like I need to start doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it intimidates me as well when that happens. It makes me feel awkward. It's just like I don't know what to do. Like they're just standing there, like looking at me like I'm an alien. I don't know. Like I get really nervous and like shy, and it just puts me in a really awkward position when that happens.
Well, they're trying to honor you in a scene that you were born in, and a scene that someone that you made, you know, like that's what it really is. They're trying to make it seem like you don't belong in a place that you always.
I don't belong here. Yeah. It's just like go do your R&B and hip hop. That's what you belong. Meanwhile,
really
we know damn well that rock and roll started by us. Okay.
Well, they're not ready
right?
for that conversation, but they're gonna have to
No.
hear it.
Yeah,
They bring it every time.
We have to bring it up. We have to make that dialogue. You know, make that front and center. You know, I think that's so important. As far as playing the good show, I feel like outside of the tri-state area, I'm more appreciated. People actually give a fuck. They're more enthusiastic, and they're like there to like, yeah, you know, that kind of vibe. So yeah, I don't get that kind of love when I'm here. When like playing shows in New York City, New Jersey, like places like that, I just don't get a lot of attention. People just like, oh, Beatrice is playing again, whatever, But like, going to Cali, Texas, down south, they love it. They absolutely dig it. Can't wait to do it again, to be honest with you. Like, fuck New York. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Awesome.
But I love New York, but it's tough. It's tough out here. Yeah. I don't get the love.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the truth. But yeah. That's
And
my experience.
How about you,
Yeah.
Meredith?
Okay, so I'll start with the best one because the worst one is really actually pretty funny. So my best one, honestly, out of all the shows that I've played, would have to be Afropunk 2015. And the reason being is that Palaceburn, like, we've been the underdogs in a lot of situations, and this was no different. We actually won the Battle of the Bands in Philly to be able to open Afropunk. And we weren't on, like, we didn't win in, like, you know how you vote for your people to be in, like, the top 5 or whatever? So we didn't make the top 5, but we ended up getting a call from the promoter and being like, hey, some people cheated, and they're in, like, Albuquerque, New Mexico. So, like, they're not going to be able to make it. Can you guys come? Like, yeah, we're actually from Philly. Of course we can come. And so we definitely were not, destined to be the ones to win, but we won. And what's wild about it is that I had attended Afropunk 2014, so the year prior. And I remember saying to, I don't know if you guys know Joe Jordan, but very amazing guitar player, black guy, dreads, awesome dude from Philly area. And he was interviewing me, and I have it on tape, right? And I was saying to myself, I'm like, oh man, like, yeah, Palaceburn, it'd be so cool if we could play that stage. And then, one day, like, hopefully for next year we played it. And speaking into existence, absolutely. And what was really cool, and when I talked about, getting the feedback from, people telling us, oh man, it's so cool to see somebody like me. I remember specifically these 3 black girls. They had to have been no older than like 15, 16, had to have been. And they came up to me with like their little puffs in their hair, their little natural hair. And they were the cutest little girls ever. And they're just like, can we get a picture with you? And they were just so adorable and so sweet. And they're just like, thank you for coming. We didn't know that a black girl sang metal. And just like, I almost started sobbing. Like, it was literally like, I know people talk shit about Afropunk, and I get why, and I completely understand why. But for me at that time, it was a dream come true. So that was honestly the best experience I had. The worst experience, I wouldn't say that it was bad per se, but it was funny to me. So we opened for Seven Dust back in 2015 again. We've opened for Seven Dust a few times. I want to say this was the first time that we did. It was a place called Reverb in Reading, which is right outside of Philly, about an hour or so out. And we played an awesome show. We were the last people on the local stage. We fucking killed it, right? And this is when I was still drinking. I'm sober now, if you guys didn't know. But our bassist thought it would be a great idea to take some fireball shots after we.
Oh, hell no!
That it would be a great idea to be like,
did you do the pickleback?
Awesome
did you do the pickleback?
Let's do this fireball, blah blah blah. And of course, my dumbass was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Great idea. So, at this point, I wasn't aware that LJ knew of me. So apparently LJ knew of me, and he also knew that I could sing. So when the Seven Dust set started, I was drunk off my ass. I was 15 sheets to the wind at this point. They started playing Shine, and apparently LJ wanted some help. So LJ himself from Seven Dust got me to come on stage and sing Shine while drunk. It did not go well. At all. At all.
Is it recorded? Is it recorded?
It is recorded, yes.
Oh
We
no!
cannot find this video.
I like forgot where like the chorus near the end repeats, and so I forgot to start singing the chorus again.
Oh no!
Oh, it's so bad. And like LJ tried to cover it up, and he's like telling the sound guy like, yeah, give her some smoke, you know, like trying to like gas me up or whatever. Bro, it was so fucking bad. And I had to apologize to LJ the next time that I saw him, and he was just like, girl, it's fine, I don't care, it's all good. And I've sung with Seven Dust since then, so I have redeemed myself. But yeah,
Yes.
I'm horrible. I love telling that story. But yeah,
Glorious.
that was my
Oh my god.
and not last time.
I'm gonna go
singing
find
with
this
Seven
video.
Dust, so yeah.
I'm gonna go find this video.
Yeah, me too.
I'll see if I can find it. I'll send it to you.
Oh my god, yes. How about you? What was your best show experience as a fan, Nicole, and your worst experience?
I want to say my best experience was probably seeing MIA at Terminal 5. Like years ago.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. It's just like it was really surreal how much like she mixed genres together. It was like a lot of like her native like Tamil music, but it was like very bouncy, like electronic, like almost industrial. Which you know me, I'm very like dark wave industrial, so I was lit for it. Yeah. And then some DC shows, like, you know, DC's always been like home for me, and we have a really cool hardcore scene here, but I could not tell you any of the bands that I saw. Like it's those bands, like I can't remember any of them, but it was a good time. And then I guess for bad experiences, it's been like a lot of the doom metal shows in this area. You know what I mean? Like, cause I flex hard with doom metal, but a lot of them are like low key, like nationalist. So as you weave in and out of them, you start to get these like weird vibes, and it is like, oh, okay, I get it. Like you're not for me, but I'm here, type of thing. Like Lena was saying, either it's a feeling or kind of a look, you know. And it's just like you take it as it is. You can't change everyone's mind at once, but it's just kind of something that I'm used to. So I guess those are like more of my worst experiences, just kind of like the vibes that I shouldn't be there, even though this is my fucking scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you?
It's unfortunate that it has to be that way.
It is.
Right.
But every time we're there, we're changing it, you know? Every single time that we put that energy out there, we're making it happen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Your presence is like everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. I would say for me, my best show experience would be when the first time I saw Niall play. I love Niall.
Nice.
And Carl Sanders. I met Carl Sanders before the show because I interviewed him.
Oh my god!
And then during his set, he shouted me out during his set.
I fucking love Niall.
I love them. They're like, I'm very into the bands that give historical backgrounds or they're like based on mythology. I love bands like that. So Niall is one of my favorite death metal bands. So Carl Sanders gave me a shout out on stage, and then all the audience just started bowing to me and shit. That was one of the best experiences I ever had. But the worst one was when I went to, I think this was Summer Slaughter, right? And I walk into the venue minding my black ass business. So this dude come up to me, congratulating me, talking about thanking me for doing a good job. And I didn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Then he goes on to proceed to offer me a lemonade, saying, oh, can I buy you a lemonade? You're working so hard. You doing a good job at the show. And then I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? He said, you don't work here? I said, no. Like he thought I worked at apparently everybody at the venue was black, so he assumed that I was working at the venue and offered me a lemonade.
No, man.
Like this dude, like And it's people like that just dumb. People like that just
That
dumb.
happens.
It's tiresome.
Right.
Always
Right.
assuming.
Oh man.
I just want to shout out this
I'm surprised
chat
it wasn't
right now.
a
'cause
slice
it's
of walnut.
wild. The comments are wild on
The
this
chat
chat.
is super lit.
Are you
Hold on.
serious?
It's lit.
This
It's
is
lit.
It's
There's so many
happening.
people
Listen.
Too bad I can't see it.
on this chat.
Somebody said LJ should have warned the bitch. You're right. You're absolutely correct. He should have warned me, but you know.
I think he saw that it was a moment like for
Oh
you
my
to
God,
shine.
I
He
would have
was
pissed
like, fuck it.
myself. Yeah, dude.
Shout out to Trinity Starlight. Shout out to Ravel, the headbanging princess. She is like going in on these comments. I love her. And she's checking the people that trying to be funny too. See, that's what I'm talking about, having that community to like look at stuff and just be supportive. She over here checking these people in the comments. That's trying to be dumb.
Period.
Because someone
Yes,
is trying
honey.
to be funny and ask if this was about feminism. And she said it's not about feminism, but it would be valid if it was.
Ooh,
which is
and
true.
Yes, honey.
She said it would be valid if it was. Even if it was about feminism, the conversation would be valid. So
Period.
Period.
Oh, I love this. Hold on, I love this comment. Allie Bishop says Ghetto Songbird is a great guitarist. Sister Rosetta returns. Love. Oh, that's such an honor. That's awesome.
It's true. If you look at them side by side, and if you look at their timeline, she passed away around the same time that Samantha grew up. So
that's awesome.
Oh wow!
Telling my age.
That biopic money.
Think about it. Think about it.
And then we have a few questions too in a group chat. My mother came in the chat to apologize.
Oh, mommy. I love you, mom.
No.
That is such a mom move. Sorry. All up in the group chat. Oh. There was another comment that I really like stuck with me. I think Vanity from Mute the Sirens said, do you have any advice on how to push past the barriers of misogynoir, basically? Like, what would any of you tell her? Because, you know, she's trying to make shit happen for herself. What did you go through that would empower her?
Let's do it. Go for it.
I say start your own spaces.
Oh, go ahead, Lena.
No, I was about to say, yeah, start your own thing, but also look at yourself as an individual who has the right to make and perform whatever music you want instead of a Black woman doing something. I think that that is the problem, is that we have to start realizing that we only have one life to live. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. So if you want to do something, do it, because it's part of you. It has like, I don't like it when you get these comments from people like, but I'm a Black girl, can I do this? Should I do this because I'm a Black girl? You know, and it's always like, you're already hindering yourself when you start off a sentence like that. You're already that you learn by using the word Black. You know, you are an individual and do what you want to do. I think, you know, that's one thing that about, you know, Diamond is a perfect example of that in Tedderark. She's just a young, talented artist. She's a guitarist. She's not anything else, especially when she's with her band. They are a community. They are a collaboration. And I think that the relationships that she has in her band, that's what drives them. Her ethnicity, her background does not. So just think of yourself as doing something for yourself because you want to do it. But I just, you know, I've had that. I thought that too when I first started writing. When I was old, I was like hip parader in Circus Magazine. I thought I really want to be a rock journalist, but I just assumed that Black girls can't do it. And it wasn't until I was 18 where I'm like, hold on, like what's can't? Like, I'm a better writer than some of these motherfuckers out there. I'm just going to do me. And I don't care if I have
That's right.
to create my own zine or whatever. But it's just, you have to believe in yourself as an individual, and being Black is a bonus, but it's not a hindrance. Just think of it as a bonus, but not a hindrance, you know? And that's, I think, I know it's hard for young people because they're getting so much feedback and negativity from especially other Black people in the communities. And I think Black people, in some ways, we do it to ourselves more than white folks do to us in terms of the limitations placed on us because of the music that we are listening to and that we are performing. Black people are the most judgmental people I've ever met in terms of what the work I do. And I don't give a shit what you think about that. It's just, that's the truth. So, I mean, it's really important that kids, like I say kids, but, you know, young people do what they want to do when they want to do it. And don't ever listen to anyone telling you can't. I know that's cliche, but for people, we need to really understand that, because everybody will try and fuck you, quite frankly. So you've got to stand up for yourself.
Okay,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, Samantha, you wanted to say something about that before?
Yeah, I totally agree with Lena just said, because when I first started in 2001, I really didn't think about being a woman or being Black or anything. It's just I wanted to play. I wanted to go plug up and play wherever I could and travel and just enjoy life. It wasn't until others started pointing out that I didn't belong there until I started dealing with the issues. But because I already knew what I wanted to do, none of that ever really got in my way. They think they stopped me or tried to move me out of the way, but I will find another way around, and I will always create my own spaces. I used to have a festival. Now I have my own online publication, but I try to do whatever I can to help myself and others out to keep that vibe moving forward, because no one should ever feel like they can't because of their color or their gender. And no one should ever make you feel that way. And people will. Like Lena said, everyone will make you feel like shit, not just white folks, Black folks, men, women, whatever. I've dealt with issues with every gender, whatever color, but it does not stop me. I continue to do what I love to do. And you have to be passionate about it, because if you don't have a passion for it, you will not last a minute. And I think that's what they say about Diamond. Diamond has that drive and that passion. And I don't know if many people know, but her father is actually, I believe, a lawyer. He's been on the Michael Jackson case back in the day. So she's probably gotten a lot through that too, to help guide and push her. And through that, I say mentorship helps too. If you feel like you can't do it on your own, find a mentor, reach out to someone to help lift you up, because that's what got me through as well.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think her father also worked in the music industry during touring for major bands too. So she has that whole strong background and that drive and that passion, as you say, to make it. So a lot of
people don't have that, so they have to go from the ground up. And those folks that don't have that lead-in that's going from the ground up, you have to learn how to build those blocks yourself. Don't wait for anyone else to build it. And we got to also stop waiting for the mainstream to tell us who our stars are. We can make our own stars. We can support each other and grow in numbers. That don't have to be one. The whole Beyonce syndrome drives me crazy. There's not just one. Beyonce is great in her own right, but there's so many other greats that are out there. And we have to stop looking at the mainstream of how they're celebrating us and selling us. We have to start celebrating ourselves and celebrating each other. And that's why I love being on platforms like this.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Like Willow Smith,
you made a point that I was going to bring that up. The Willow Smith.
Like, she's not our savior.
Willow Smith, yes.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to
how long have you been out here?
Same here.
How long has Meredith been out here? How long has Samantha been out here?
20 years.
Too
I don't want to hear it.
Right.
12 years, I think, at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been 12 years, you know? Like Samantha, like since 2002, you know? Beatrice, and, you know, like
2012, right?
Longer than Willow's been whipping her hair back and forth. Let's just say that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I find it very interesting, the conversations about Willow Smith and this pop punk project she just did. What is it?
Transparent
What is it called?
I actually did check it out.
I thought it was really good because she does have the talent for it. And what was interesting to me that she said was that she was afraid to perform rock music, not because she didn't think she could do it, it was more because of the fact that she was afraid of how people would perceive it. So, and I thought that was very interesting. Yeah. And she even said that watching her mom be in a metal band really drove her to want to pursue and listen to rock and play instruments and do other things that she wasn't trained to do. Like, she grew up trained to sing R&B. And I think it's interesting because I listened to that song today on Spotify, and the next song in the queue was R&B, was a Solange song, and every song after the fact was not anything in the genre of punk pop.
Wow.
So it's like they're trying to other her already and make her music inaccessible to that audience. And what I also took the time to do was read the articles that were written about her. Because I thought there was a lot of conversations being had. There was the Black rockers who were upset at the people that were trying to hold her or regard her as a savior. And then you had the other people that were supporting her, saying normalize Black girls doing things that are not rap and R&B and pursuing other interests that are not within that space or that realm. Do things like that's alternative. And I saw someone wrote an article. I think it was either Loudwire or Kerrang. I'm not sure which one it was. They were talking about how Jada Pinkett Smith was in a metal band, but they quoted her as a metal tourist. I thought that was a very interesting term. A metal tourist. Metal tourist. Not because forget about the fact that she's been listening to rock and metal her whole life. She grew up with it in her household. She's been a fan of it for her whole life. And then she wanted to pursue it. And then there was another adjective someone used. They said Willow Smith boldly pursues career in pop punk. Like how she has the audacity to enter this space, and she had the audacity to even want to perform this music. I'm just looking at the tone and the language they're using to talk about her, because I think it's more than just her being Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's daughter. It's just the way they're trying to make it sound like people should have a problem with this and not embrace it. Like, it's you're not supposed to like this at all, but it sounds so good that it feels guilty to enjoy it. That's the overall tone I'm getting from the coverage of this. And it bothers me too. It bothers me so much because it's like you're not even giving this girl a chance before she even gets her feet in the ground.
Right.
Like, why? And what is so wrong with her pursuing anything that's not rap and R&B? Because you expect that of her because she's supposed to do that. And why do you think that she's only destined for one thing and not expecting her to excel in another one? Because I think she's very talented and she can excel in it, and that's what they're afraid of. And I think because she's a celebrity child, they're going to use that against her like they did her mother. Because let's be honest, Wicked Wisdom had some bangers. They did. They had some bangers. But it was the fact that people couldn't get over the fact that this was Will Smith's wife. Not that Jada Pinkett Smith had fame in her own right.
Had a whole
right? Because I remember Jada Pinkett as Miss Peaches.
Miss Peaches, so misogynist.
I said Miss Peaches in a metal band. I said, oh shit, Miss Peaches is in a metal band. But it's like the way they just tried to dismiss her whole existence in the scene, and now they're doing it to her daughter. It's disgusting to me. Like let this girl do what she want. Let her do her thing. And I also love the fact that more reading into it that her and her brother and someone else started a representation group called Mischief Rep. And what they're trying to do is like gather artists who do alternative arts to express themselves in a way they want to. And they're working with Rock Nation. So now we got Rock Nation about to put out rock music and alternative music produced by Black people. And that is big. I think that is big. Everybody knows Rock Nation is synonymous with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Like, I think that's huge. And no one's talking about that. That's a story right there no one's talking about. And
But
Will
at the same
and
time,
Smith are like heading this.
Can I push back a little bit?
But at the same time, though, that's the point was that it doesn't have to be mainstream. There's already
It
like
doesn't have to be
10 like
mainstream.
Black
And then
like
there's
alternative
other-
rock labels that exist now.
And I also don't want to dismiss the record labels that were already started by Black people who's been doing this for years, because they do exist. But I think it's great to see a mainstream artist or mainstream celebrities trying to do it too. But I just think that people are not trying to give them a chance for that reason. Oh, go ahead, lady.
Both are true.
Yeah, no, I just want to kind of push back a little bit. I think one of the things that I see about when we are trying to promote and really support Black artists in metal, hardcore, punk, whatever, we have to remember that it's quality over quantity. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to blindly support anyone if their music sucks. I don't care who they are.
That's true.
And so I'm always a little, so that makes me feel a little cynical about this whole like the chick, what's her name again? This Willow. Yeah, I mean the music, the song was really good, but it was overproduced and it was soulless. And it's like, what is the point? And then the aesthetic in terms of it was just too much. And I think that it's like you can't, and I'm sorry, I'm one of those people who I think it's like, let's pick and choose what genre we want to do today, you know? And there's something about the whole thing that seems so manufactured and so disingenuous. I mean, listen to what you want to listen and support who you want to support. But I think with Wicked Wisdom, there seems to be a lot of fantasy built around, Jada doing this band. But the music sucked. I'm sorry, but it was terrible music. It was melodic. Like, it's not even that it's not my thing. It just wasn't a good band. But I do get tired because we're so in love that a Hollywood superstar decided to do a couple of albums, and good for her. But if the quality of the music is not there, or it's very performative, then it's really not. It's more of a hindrance than it is a positive thing. And I just don't like. I get people contacting me all the time who are like, I've got a band, here's my demo, will you listen, will you listen, will you listen? Can you write me up? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And I'm like, if it sucks, I'm not going to do anything for you. Well, I'm sorry, but you can't go into the industry saying, oh, because I'm Black, I deserve a cookie. And I deserve this because I'm a Black person doing rock. You got to work for it, and you've got to work on your talent, and I really don't believe in blind support. I'm not saying that this is the case in Willow, but again, the song was good. It was for not my generation, but it was very overly produced. The whole thing was overly produced and it's substantial. Yeah, it was just okay.
The chorus was laying there for me. I wanted a nice build up, but
yeah, like my 12-year-old.
Someone mentioned Fifi Dobson.
Yeah, someone did.
That's another one.
Fifi Dobson.
The Queen. She did it first. Like she did the whole art.
I was not a fan of Fifi. I'm sorry.
Another one.
Me neither. I was like, I don't know.
I get it.
Yeah,
well, that just brings to light how subjective art is, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, someone
Yeah,
someone had one. Oh, go ahead. Someone went to say
no,
something?
sorry, go ahead, Kim.
Okay,
Sorry.
someone had one last question. Someone said, her band is called Muse to Sirens, and she said, I live in the South, and I'm the only Black female vocalist for a rock band in my area, and it's pretty hard making a name for yourself. Do you have any advice on how to push past these barriers? That was her question.
Leads into that kind of leads into the question that we were going to get to, which is the advice for the brew community as a whole. I think it kind of just speaks to what Lena was saying in regards to Willow and just like this whole almost kind of privilege as far as like being somebody who's like rich and like has like all these like means to make whatever music that you want. Honestly, I think that goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, is just like really staying true to yourself. Do you know what I mean? And just like really being authentic to what it is that you want to do, not necessarily what you think sounds good, what you think is going to get you on the radio, what you think that your white friends are going to like, and then they'll be like, oh yay, the Negroes doing rock, awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really important to really create your own path and like do what it is that makes you happy and do the type of music that makes you feel good. Because the thing about it is, when people see that, when you're on stage, when you're sharing your stuff on Spotify and that sort of thing, and you're, you know, marketing yourself as an artist, people are going to feel that authenticity and they're going to see that. And that's what's going to draw them in to you and what you're doing, like, you know, as a lead singer, as a guitarist, like someone like Diamond, you know, like we talked about Diamond a lot in this episode. But that's the biggest thing. Like, you're not trying to just be out there because, hey, I'm a Black woman doing rock. Yay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about that. It's about you sing. That's what you like to do. That's what you want to do with your life. So share that with the world and show people what you are and what you're about as a musician. And they'll come.
Yeah,
right.
And this is coming from somebody from Virginia, so
If you know,
I know about being down there in the South, you know, so I get it.
Yes.
And
be righteous.
Right.
Be righteous. I think that's important.
And thank you guys for coming out and doing this. This has been a lot of fun, and we've been getting a lot of comments and activity. So I guess the last question is, what is your advice for the brew community? So I'll start with Beatrice.
Advice: keep doing what you're doing. I love it. Keep bringing up like issues that needs to be brought up, really. Like, you know, I don't know. That's pretty much it. Just keep doing what you're doing. I love what you guys are doing.
We love you, madam. We're empowered in turn.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And how about you, Samantha?
I've been a part of this community for a long time. I've seen the growth over the years, and I'm loving the direction that you're going in now. And I just say, keep standing together, because we need many communities like this. Keep doing together, keep sharing together, and we have to continue to listen to our music together, because if we don't listen to it and they don't see the strength in numbers, it's never going to be played, it's never going to grow. So continue to celebrate us so we can celebrate each other.
That's right.
And how about you, Lena?
I just say, like, I'm going to repeat what I said before, which is, you know, look after number one, do what you want to do for yourself, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I know it's hard. I've been through it all. You know, I've had the self-doubt, and I still have imposter syndrome. But I think that in terms of musicians, like, really, we have to, for young people, just do it. Don't worry. Don't stress. Like, focus on your art. Focus on your craft. Just, you know, take guitar lessons and just keep on taking them. And, you know, and just be a nerd and look up people who you want to, you know, like, there's certain people I like, and I'm not a musician. Scott Reeder from Caius is like a good friend of mine, and I just love everything he does. And I think in terms of the music industry and stuff, like there's people from all different walks of life that can help you, that can give you advice and mentor. And so go for it. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I mean, I still email random people if I need help with my dissertation. Like, just don't be afraid, because trust me, no, I mean, this sounds really cynical. And I think my age is showing on this podcast in terms of maybe being a little bitter.
Oh no, stop.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
No.
you really, I really want to stretch and like really want to emphasize that no one is going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. You are the only person that can motivate yourself into doing anything. So really just be selfish if you need to, be insular, you know, and just work on your craft and believe in yourself. Because as Samantha said, you know, if you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to believe in you, right? You've got to put yourself out there and you've got to work for it, you know? Mm-hmm. So.
And how about you, Meredith?
I mean, basically piggybacking off of that. I mean, what the shirt say? Don't stop. Don't stop.
Don't stop.
Don't stop. Period. Period, boo. No, I mean, just honestly, just like be your authentic self. I mean, that's really the only thing that's going to get you far in the industry, because people are going to see whether you're being real or being fake. And the fake ones are very, very easy to spot. I have a lot of people in this industry that I looked up to and I never thought would ever be like peers. You know what I'm saying? Like people who like I have in my phone, like I have phone numbers of like people I like listened to when I was 15 years old that I never imagined I would be able to talk to and to get advice from, and you know, and that sort of thing. And it was because I was authentic. I never treated them like, oh my God, you're such and such from this band. You know, it was just, hey, I'm a musician too. What can you tell me? And, you know, people flock to that. People really engage with authenticity. So as long as you stay true to yourself and do what it is that you want to do, not because you're black, white, whatever it is, you do what you want to do, you're good. You're gonna be straight. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies, so much. Nicole, did you want to give a last shout out?
Yeah, that the exclusion that we felt, it's not real. Like this was made for us by us, you know. Sister Rosetta rocked so that we could rock, you know. Don't think she didn't think of us when she did it, you know. She picked up that guitar and said, for all of y'all sisters here, this is for you.
That's right.
Yup.
And I love y'all. I hope y'all rock on, and I hope to see y'all soon. This has been amazing.
Yeah.
This was a lot of
fun. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you guys. This was great.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, I just want to say thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Shout out to my mama. Shout out to
Hi, mommy.
Shout out to everyone in the world that's going through it right now. Whether you're in India, whether you're in St. Vincent, people that is in St. Elizabeth City right now through protesting, people trying to fight for their rights to protest and for their right to vote.
Oh, yes.
There is so much suffering in the world right now that has to be acknowledged. Shout out to George Floyd's family, because we know that was a journey for them and they got their justice legally, but socially we can't call it that. But Ma'Khia Bryant, what is it? Everybody that's just going through it right now. Yeah, we got to acknowledge them. So thank you guys for just joining this chat and making it a success. We love you. We hope to have another one. We're definitely going to do a third installment of this because this was a great discussion. And thank you guys, and rock on.
Yeah, rock on.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Nicole and Kim.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Love y'all. Thank you.
Thank y'all, rockers.
Bye.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.